It's 2006 and Pixar have just been acquired for a whopping $7.4 billion. That's $11.5 billion adjusted for inflation in 2024. They've merged into Disney in an all-stock buyout after decades of a working partnership. Their seventh feature-length animation has been well received by audiences and critics alike, making nearly $500 million in the box office. THQ are ready to release a tie-in game for 6th-gen consoles, but will the high-speed thrills and Pixar charm translate well into a family-friendly Cars game? This is Crossplay, a series where we look at the intersection of video games and other media. Today we're looking at what happens when the world's largest animation studio releases a video game tie-in for their latest blockbuster after one of the largest business acquisitions in history, and how that movie magic works in an adventure racing game. Disney's Pixar Cars for PlayStation 2, Xbox 360 and GameCube takes us on a brand new adventure with the story set shortly after the events of the movie. You'll start your game in Radiator Springs dreaming of winning a big race, with the first major event being made available early in the gameplay. Cars could be described as an open world game, but I think open zone would be a better description. The world is made of 3 areas including Ornament Valley, Tailfin Pass and the aforementioned Radiator Springs. Each location offers a hub world with a selection of races and challenges to complete. Successfully completing a challenge or placing 3rd or higher in a race will land you trophies. These trophies can be used to unlock new events. The story paces at a reasonable rate. As you progress through the game, you'll learn new techniques and gain the ability to boost, along with drifting, jumping and quickly jumping to backwards driving. These will all help you beat challenges and races. Each mechanic is introduced with its own challenge, and some of these are genuinely fun experiences. I really enjoyed the lesson Mate gives you on switching between forwards and reverse driving. Driving feels responsive and balanced, and drifting is for the most part satisfying and simple to learn. We're not in the realm of realism here with the handling and physics, but I doubt anybody playing this game would be expecting that. A lot of what you ask to do is optional. Other than the races, there are various challenges offered by characters from the movie. Meta teaches you how to tractor it, which is essentially a series of stealth challenges that start a little tricky as the controls are completely changed, but after a few rounds you get used to what you're being asked to do. Luigi has lost his prize, white wall tyres, and you need to hunt them down. Similarly, Lizzie has lost her prize postcards, and you're challenged to find them. Many of Lizzie's postcards are in places you'll only be able to access once you have learned to jump and boost. Now, about those races. They're effectively split into 2 types. There's the road-based sprint events and Grand Prix. These are nearly always 3 laps of a circuit, with some exceptions on the longer track in the late game. Most of them are pretty straightforward and simple to beat, although Sally did give me a good run for my money. These are the bulk of the races and periodically scattered throughout the story in different locations. If you're going to play, a quick note is each location point can have multiple races listed in the menu, so it's worth checking. The other type of races are speedway events. These are 12 laps around tracks where you will be taking the most optimal racing line and taking other races on the inside. During these races, you will not have access to your abilities, including your drift and boost. These are pretty straightforward, but around the halfway point of the race you're required to take a pit stop. This is a very short series of minigames prompting you for various key inputs like repeatedly pressing a certain button or rotating your thumbstick in a clockwise direction. Complete a series of 4 minigames in good time and you'll be rewarded with being placed in a higher position. The lack of boosting and drifting does not take away from the excitement of the race. You'll be pushed around by other drivers, skip up and down the position ladder, and need to find the best racing lines. I like these races. They act like endpoints for each chapter and give you a sense of being in the moment of a big race event, much like the movie itself. All the characters featured in the movie are voiced by their original actors in the game, and they have not been shy about adding a good selection of them to the story, for a total of 10. The soundtrack, in a word, great. Sure, it could always do with more selection when it comes to music, but tracks like Free Ride by the Edgar Winter Group and What I Want by Autopilot Off had me singing along in no time. Seriously, go check them out, they're both on Spotify. Even those who were less than impressed by the core gameplay praised the soundtrack. Pelit magazine, who called it an easy game for children, noted the soundtrack was awesome. Visually, the game is impressive for its time, with nice detail, models and colours that are appealingly saturated. The game controls well for the most part. with minor differences between the handling of vehicles in their characters' challenges. The monster trucks gave me a pretty hard time. Their handling was much looser than the other characters, and the competition from the AI felt more challenging. It took me a few attempts to beat this challenge. If I were to look for criticism, there is a definite pullback effect on the AI drivers during the speedways. Towards the final laps of the race, you will see what seemed to be a small lead open up to multiple seconds. I also found myself with a large, sometimes 30 seconds lead in the endgame GPs. I don't know if this was my familiarity with the courses or the AI not being challenging enough. This did take a lot of the thrill out of the game from me, but the story more than kept me bouncing from plot point to plot point. I wouldn't say this game is going to pose much more than a slight challenge for most gamers, but it's a great looking, amazing sounding story crafted by masters of the industry. So if you're looking for a relaxed time or have children you want to get into retro gaming, you could do a lot worse than getting yourself a copy of Cars for your preferred platform. It's a great game for those looking for family-friendly experiences suitable for younger children, and a romp for any Disney Pixar fan. If that's not you, probably skip this one. But if it is, I think you'll have a fun time. I got a complete PS2 copy for less than £5, and you can get it on Steam for less than £20 with what appears regularly 75% off. So it's easily accessible for anyone looking to play. I've only played the PS2 version, so I can't comment on any differences in gameplay between platforms, but the Steam version does get good reviews. It took me around 8 hours to play through the story mode and do a handful of side quests, but for the completionists out there, this could definitely scratch that collect-a-thon itch. Ultimately, Cars is an expression of Disney Pixar's creative vision in the mid-2000s. It brings that highly polished charm of Pixar's animation with the family-friendly values and powerful storytelling of Disney, delivering an endearing package. It's a great tie-in video game for a movie that offers a new story for fans of the characters. It's always good to see crossover games deliver something new in terms of story and experience for their fans, and Cars does exactly that. I'd say it's worth a playthrough. Did you play Cars back in the day? What was your favourite part, and did you find Sally as challenging as me? Let me know in the comments. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. It really helps me make more retro content, and if you got this far in the video, a massive thank you to you, you lovely, lovely being. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time with another episode of Crossplay.